And joining us in studio is Pat, who is, now get ready for this, she's a blogger, she's a podcaster, she's an editor of Catechist Magazine, and an author of a new book, All In. I have it right here. Pat, thanks for being with us.
Pleasure, Jay.
Always good when you're in here. You've got the green. So
well, it's Happy St. Patty's Day. I'm named for himself.
And you know, my middle name's Patrick. So it's a Patrick type of show today.
This is fantastic.
Well, listen, that's a long list, so you're doing a lot of different things. Tell us about the book, All In. Let's get to this.
Well, it was a pleasure to be able to write another book for Ave Maria Press. I wrote this book for all Catholics, really, but especially those who might be a little bit discouraged about the Catholic Church, maybe a little weary, maybe a little wobbly in their sense of wanting to belong to the Church. Maybe they feel a little wounded by the Church. I know there's many of us here in the Archdiocese of Boston who've gone through a lot in the last number of years, and some people are feeling a little distance from the Church. This is my list of reasons why I think belonging to the Church really still matters, has relevancy for our lives, and really enhances our life.
Do you see that there's a yearning from those people, too, who they want to come back, but there's just that impediment somehow that it's hard for them to do it?
Yeah, and I think this is a book that helps to talk about, you know, those real obstacles or stumbling blocks that people may find, but also to try to heal them.
Well, you know, your point that we have to decide what gives meaning in people's lives today is a good one. You know, we're all busy. We all have so many different distractions going on. How do we get to that real meaning?
Well, I think everyone is looking for meaning in their life, and I think it's always a relevant conversation to ask, what does give meaning to our lives? So as a believer in Jesus Christ, as a Catholic Christian, I want to share what gives meaning to my life in that full way of belonging to the Church. So looking at the Church kind of with a macro lens, everything about the Church. And I think there's so many wonderful things about the Church that people can find a way to kind of bridge the gap and find ways to make the connection that they long for. Really, we're made for connection. Our faith is not made to be lived in a vacuum. So the Church brings us many connections that I think take us away from isolation and bring us to communion and community.
And how important is community?
Oh, totally. I don't think anyone can live their faith alone. You know, Jesus called us together, and he gave us commandments, not only, you know, to love God, but to love one another. We're made for relationship. This relationship with God, of course, is primary. As Catholics, we really believe in communion with the Lord, but that communion spills over into communion with other people. So being part of the community of the Catholic Church is vital, I think, for any type of human flourishing.
You know what I hear today, and it's somewhat sad. People say, oh, I'm spiritual, I'm not religious. But how does belonging to the Catholic Church bring someone's spirituality to a new level?
Well, I think there are a lot of people who feel that way.
Yeah.
And I think in some ways when they say they want to be spiritual, I mean, that's a great thing, because they want to be connected to the Lord. And I think this internal life, this interior life that we're called to have in terms of praying and being in contact with the Lord, that is great. But if you want to follow Jesus, Jesus poured himself out for others. Jesus formed a community. He poured his life out into the Church. So for me, when I answer that question, if I want to love Jesus, I want to be like him, and I want to love the things that Jesus loves. And you know what? Jesus loves the Church. He gave his life for the Church. He pours all of his graces into the Church. So I want to love the things that he loves. And you know what? He starts to heal the areas in me that may have had questions about the Church. And I cover some of those in the book as well.
I'm always intrigued with speaking with authors, because when they write a book, and you know, you've written All In, they find out something about themselves as they're writing it. Is there anything you found out about yourself as you was writing this?
You know, that's a great question. I talk a lot about my own spiritual journey in this book, and I was kind of shy to do that. I kind of was.
Was it hard?
I think it was hard for me. I think I'm a little more reserved person, and to really talk about my own life with Jesus really took some effort. But I feel that the more that I start to talk about it, the more I give people permission to talk about their spiritual life. and the sharing can be fruitful. So so I'm starting to get over that shyness.
Yeah, and I think it's always good too, if you believe in something and you think it's going to help other people, we should share that with each other, which is always important.
You're so right, and what a great way to promote your faith, but to do it just person to person. I think really faith is caught, not taught a lot of times. You know, I'm a catechist. I get to teach all the time. But I teach with a lesson plan or a Bible study or something like that. But, you know, my faith came alive because other people shared their faith with me. And I kind of was attracted to that, and I saw their joy. And their joy is what really helped to ignite my own faith.
Do you love it when you see someone, too, opening their mind and opening themselves up? Because that's really what it is. As you say, you know, you're a little shy about sharing that story. Is it great to see people opening themselves up and sharing what they have?
Absolutely. And also coming along those moments where we have these aha moments with God. I'm sharing some of my aha moments about God, but also with the church. Different things I learned about the church that I didn't know, that even broadened my love for the church, warts and all.
Well, Pat, it's been great having you in. So where can people get a copy of all? Because I know you're on Facebook, you're on Twitter, so they can find you all over the internet.
Thank you.
Where can they get a copy?
Certainly, I love people to go to their local Catholic bookseller to get the book. It's certainly available from Ave Maria Press and Amazon, Barnes & Noble, all the usual places.
And our best to Danielle when you see her.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
We're getting, you guys are on all the time now.
Yeah, Danielle being my good friend. Thank you.
Well, we will have more of This Is His Day. Stay with us. We'll be right back.